Hey, welcome to our Kids Leadership Coach Equipping. Coaches, I really do wish I was sitting down and having lunch with each of you, but I can't miss this opportunity to tell you that I am so proud of the way that you have kicked this year off. You see, this August was by far the best launch we have ever had in kids leadership, genuinely, and you are a huge part of that. I am so grateful for each of you. There is so much to celebrate already about this year. And we're learning a lot too, though, right? We're learning how to live differently and we're learning how to lead differently. Let me remind you, you are leaders, disciples of Jesus who take responsibility to create kingdom culture and make disciples while accomplishing a specific task. So today, we want to focus on just one area that you have responsibility to create kingdom culture in. Let's talk about your role on Sunday mornings during the Kids Weekend Experience. We want to bring you as much clarity as possible for this time. So you guys know that Sunday mornings are where you've got devoted time with your kids in their huddles. But then you get to be with them, coaching them, guiding them, intentionally modeling for them for the remainder of the experience. But what does that actually mean and what does it specifically look like? Well, let's break it down together now. Let's go through the morning part by part, and then we'll talk about how you get to partner with the Serve Team and Serve Team leaders inside that space as well. Ready? For today's discussion, we're going to just focus on the weekend experience. We'll talk about huddles at another time, but for now, let's kick it off right after your huddles are done. So after your huddles have been released, your kids are free to go hang out and participate in free time. That's what we want for them, to be part of the community of peers and to have fun. And this is a great chance to remind them of that and tell them to go and play, but to keep their eyes open to other kids that might be alone and in need of an invite, or simply for them to just meet a new friend and welcome them into Valley Creek Kids. Now, these are good reminders as kids head out of huddle, but we know that kids need more than one reminder, and even more than that, they need someone to show them and model for them what that looks like. So that's where you get to go and play Foursquare with them or play foosball or color or whatever your kids are doing and help them lift their eyes to see the kids that they can invite in, to see the opportunities to play with peace and joy, to see themselves as a leader in that zone, because they are. But it will take you pointing those things out to them. It will take you modeling it for them, and it won't just be one and done. It will take every Sunday for the whole year. But you'll get to build on the development every single week. And let me just acknowledge, this is tricky when your pod is all over the room, right? So both coaches will want to rotate around the room, and then at the end of service, use that time to connect with your co-coach and share what you're seeing in your kids, the challenges you're giving them, and what you got to celebrate. So that's just free time, but then it's time for the experience to start, right? Well, this is a great time to leverage our leadership essentials that we've been talking about. So this can look as simple as you, coaches, going by each zone quickly and reminding kids, hey, come on, it's time to get started. And leaders arrive on time, so let's go. Or, hey, let's lead the way in being in our seats on time. Remember, leaders arrive on time. See, the more that we can help connect the dots of the things that they are already learning, the better. But we don't want them just arriving to any seat on time, right? Remember in August at the kickoff, we asked them to help lead the way by sitting up front. So every Sunday, we want them to choose to sit toward the front, ready to lead with their bodies and their spirit. We love that they want to sit with their friends, and this does not change that at all. We just want them to invite their friends to join them towards the front. And so you can invite them to do that with something simple like, hey guys, we're leaders, so we're gonna lead the way from the front together. Grab your friends, invite them to come sit with us. This will allow you as coaches to sit near all of your kids and be able to model for them what it looks like to fully engage. You guys, not just be there, but really fully participate with their whole hearts. And you guys know the rest of the service order, right? Pretty close to the beginning, we typically play a game. And this is an opportunity for you to have fun with your kids. Play a game with them. You guys, at this age, they can be tempted to be more worried about what others think about them, and maybe they don't want to fully play. But you get to model for them what it looks like to have kingdom joy. And for you 11 o'clock coaches, you might have the additional opportunity to coach kids to not ruin the game for others by shouting out the answers if they attend both services. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sure. And same thing for worship. This is a chance for you to lay down any of your own preferences and to model what it looks like to worship with your whole self. If you have a kiddo that is sitting or distracted, that's just a great opportunity to remind them why we worship. Simply remind them that worship is when we give Jesus the number one place in our heart, and he is worthy of all of our attention and focus. And show them that it's fun. Invite them to join you. Something like, hey, I love getting to worship Jesus alongside of you. Come dance with me. It's so much fun. As you guys know, inviting them to lead the way doesn't end with games and worship. There are a lot of opportunities in the video-led experience to lead the way. Talkbacks, the memory verse, message, and more. And we want our kids to lead the way, but it really does start with you. You, along with the other serve team members in the room, show them what it looks like to not be afraid or shy of talking back to the host and teachers. And that's why modeling everything for them is so important. Okay, so speaking of modeling things for them, let's move on to the message. One of the things that we have seen really take off in the last couple of years is the note-taking culture among our 4th and 5th graders. You guys, this is because you are doing it so consistently that it's become natural for each of them to pick up their journals and take notes throughout the message. You are helping them learn that we expect to hear God speaking, and we're ready to take note of it because we value his voice. So keep going. Keep encouraging them to listen with their whole body, right? Their eyes are on the screen, their ears are open, and they're taking notes. So celebrate that in them. It's huge. And you still may have a kid that is a little more distracted or disruptive. That happens, right? Well, in our August equipping, we talked about Jesus's model of coaching, and he removed distractions because he didn't want anyone to miss what God was doing. You remember that, right? Most of you shared that this was going to be the thing that stretched you the most as a coach. But now I'm watching you guys do it. You're learning it's not hard or complicated. You can simply say things like, hey, I don't want you to miss what God's saying right now, so let's tune back in. It's also okay to remove distractions from them so they don't miss anything. Telling them, hey, I'm gonna sit between you guys so you don't miss what God has for you in this message, and you're leaders, so I know you don't wanna miss it either. Or, hey, I'm gonna hold on to this toy, object, whatever, for you because it's distracting you and others right now and keeping you from what God wants to show you. This is an important part of leading them with clarity on a Sunday morning. It's an important part of coaching. Okay, so as the message comes to a close, I often find that the next few minutes of our time to be the most distracted of the entire experience. And I love that our kids love circles and are excited to get to them. But could you imagine if as soon as the campus pastor got up to close in the worship center, everyone just started talking, laughing, leaving? I hope you cannot imagine that. But we want to create the same culture inside our kids' spaces. Again, just guiding every kid in kids leadership to be honoring all the way to the end, to not get distracted, to honor the MC who will get up and dismiss us. Well, we know that if kids leadership kids can lead the way, they will tip and change the culture inside that space. And once you're inside circles, your role does not change. You are a kids leadership coach, which means that there will be another serve team member leading the circle. So what is your role during circles then? Well, we know that because each of you are great leaders, you're going to have great insights. You might have a great go further or double click question. We know that you're going to lead in those moments because that's just who you are. Or maybe a kid asks a question or makes a statement that you know has to be addressed, and the student that's leading the circle isn't totally prepared to do that for whatever reason. Well, we know that you're going to lead in the moment. But here's what I want you to hear from me and have clarity on. You get to model all of those things for that serve team member, but you're not responsible for leading the circle. And you're going to keep pointing back to that serve team member as the leader just to honor them and model that for the kids. So when I personally get to sit in on a circle, I usually just say things like, hey, Miss Lexi, do you mind if I ask another question here? Or, Mr. Caleb, I'd love to pause and pray over Madeline quickly since she just shared something that was really hard. Would that be okay? Then, as their coach, it would be great to pull Kids Leadership Kids aside after the circle is finished and talk to them about the leadership moments that you had in the circle. Ask them questions like, why do you think I asked if it would be okay if I prayed for Madeline in that moment? And then encourage them to lead in the same ways next time. So you ask questions, you teach, and then you empower them to lead. Make sense? Circles is just one of the ways that we get to partner with the other serve team and the experienced leader in the space. And so let me just acknowledge that you guys have a really unique role, being leaders in a space, but aren't leading the space in its entirety, right? Well, overall, we just want to remind you that the more you can partner with the team inside the space, the better. If you see a kid that needs some help or some attention, but you're with your pod, that's a great thing to point out to another serve team member or the experienced lead. And there are going to be times that you help with behavior challenges or even someone getting hurt. And those are the times to call the experienced lead over, fill them in on what happened so that they can fill out the incident reports or partner with your kids director in how they've been equipped to do so. It's not black and white. You are leaders, so you're going to lead. But we wanted you to hear from us today. The design for your role on a Sunday morning is to be with your kids' leadership kids, coaching them through the whole morning, modeling for them, and having fun with them. I hope this helps bring you some clarity on Sunday mornings specifically. And I am so excited to keep learning and leading with each of you in the months to come. I'll see you guys soon.